Ma'am, with your permission, can we start the session?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you, ma'am. Ranjana, ma'am, please begin. So, welcome everybody to dear participants, dear resource person, and my dear colleagues, as well as the students and the participants from outside. I warmly welcome you all for today's third session on CVP on legal research and e-resources and legal research. I would like to introduce, with everybody's permission, I would like to introduce our resource person from today, Dr. Shampa Dev. Dr. Shampa Dev is the professor in School of Law, Christ University, Bangalore. She has distinguished academic journey, holding an LLB, LLM, and PhD, and specializing in constitutional law, jurisprudence, rights jurisprudence. She began her legal career under Justice Sirpurkar, engaging in writ petitions, civil litigation, and family law matters before transitioning into academia. In her teaching, Dr. Dev handles courses such as legal research methodology, jurisprudence, constitutional law, election law, family law, and human rights. Her research interests lie in the intersection of law and philosophy, with emphasis on privacy, gender, environment, disability rights, and interdisciplinary legal challenges. She also has led funded research projects on water rights, legal literacy, and cultural protection and contributed significantly to curriculum development and legal education innovation. We are privileged to have Dr. Dev with us today, and I am confident her insights on topic of utility of AI and classical methods will greatly enrich our discourse on legal education, e-resources, as well as constitutional perspectives. I warmly welcome you, ma'am, and I would like to hand over the stage to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I'll share my slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Are the slides moving?
Yes, ma'am, they are moving.
Okay. So, shall I start then? I'll start then.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. And as I got to know from you, the organizers, that all of you are from law, and I think that all of you would be interested in some of the other, research work that you may be pursuing. Can I know from you I want to get some idea about your fields of research, so that if you could pick a few examples from there, it'll be easier for you as well as for me. Uh, how many of you are doing research, and what kind of research are you all doing? Maybe you could unmute yourself and speak.
Participants are requested to put their answers in the chat box.
Um, I may not be able to see the chat box, I think.
That's okay, ma'am. Whatever answers they will be giving, I'll be conveying to you.
Okay. Could you please read them out?
Yes, ma'am. Participants kindly enter the question, answer the question which ma'am has put forward.
Yeah, you could put in your research topics. Also, I request, if you are a student, then your research, or if you're an LLM student, or are you a PhD student, and what kind of research are you doing? Are you writing a research paper, or you're doing thesis?
So, ma'am, there is one topic by Mr. Bhupendra Rao, ma'am, legal databases.
Legal databases.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Any other participant, please come forward and like to talk about their research topic.
With respect to legal database, What are you doing?
Ma'am, till now no participant has come forward. I'll like to tell you mine. My research currently is going on mediation laws.
On with respect to mediation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in
Uh,
that, what are you doing?
Currently, I am working on the comparative analysis across various jurisdictions of the mediation laws.
Okay. And
Mr.
there's
Bhupendra, Mr.
something specific in mediation laws when you're doing a comparison. You
Yes,
are
ma'am.
comparing what element in that mediation?
Basically, there are a lot of elements which I have taken into consideration, such as cross-border enforcements, the
Hmm.
confidentiality, right,
Hmm.
and the ambit of mediation, the scope and the applicability of the mediation,
Okay.
and all these aspects I have taken into consideration. Mr.
That
Bhupendra Raut has come forward with a reply of your question that he is studying on Manupatra legal databases.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Any other area anyone has written?
Ranjana ma'am is doing a PhD in environmental law,
Okay.
so her research area is in environmental law.
Okay.
Any other participant?
Okay. We'll move ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So primarily, this particular session is with respect to how traditional methods have changed over the years, or what is the benefit we have in the age of AI all around us, in and how does the use of AI tools help and fasten the whole of the research process. It not only fastens the whole of the research process, it also makes it more systematic and scientific, and that's what I'm going to tell you about. In this whole of the the presentation that we are going to have, we will look at how AI redefines the methodologies of how we collect data, how we analyze data, how we interpret that data. Each one of these, in fact, if you look at every stages of your research, all over you will find one or the other AI tools are there that helps you in that process. Okay, something that was manual some time back is no more manual. I mean, there are tons of AI tools that are available, so much so that we may not know about all the AI tools that are available, but at least if we are comfortable with a few, we'll find and we start using them. We will be hugely benefited from those. And we'll also see as to how we could blend the old and the new approaches in the way of how we collect data, and which one would be a better method of doing at what stage of the research we are in. So quickly, what we are going to do is first understand what's legal research, then the traditional ways of legal research. How do we integrate AI into these traditional methods? And particularly, I'll introduce you to a few research tools, very few research tools, with respect to, say, how do you do literature review, how research tools may help you with critical reasoning, and also how case mine can be used there, wherein you can do data driven research, right? So let's look at a few of these research tools, but primarily first, what do we do when we do legal research? I would like it to be more interactive, and if you could give some inputs as to when you are doing research, what may be the purpose of doing the research. You have some research questions, and in that, what do you do? Can I get some inputs on that? What are you doing while you are doing legal research? Some answers are here on the slide itself. Anyone? Okay, I'll proceed. Maybe it might be confusing at the very start. Primarily, we have a purpose for doing the legal research. And towards that purpose, I mean, you will have objectives, research objectives. Those research objectives come from having first identified a gap area from where certain research questions have arisen, and from where you have created a few objectives. Like I said just now, that I want to do a comparative study of how mediation works in, say, different countries. Maybe you've chosen a few countries and you're going to look at the laws that exist or that regulates this subject area, that's about how mediation is done and what are the regulations with respect to it. And as I asked her as to, what aspects of it are you going to look into? Maybe you're going to look into the procedures, maybe you're going to look into the compliances, maybe you're going to look into how long does it take in different countries, what are the regulations around it. So there are certain perspective. There are certain points around which that search will, you'll be doing that search towards it, right? Whether it's environmental laws or constitution, whether it may be a comparative study you are doing, it may be an exploratory study you are doing, it may be just a descriptive study that you are doing, a critical analysis that you might be doing, right? So when we look at legal research, we find that there are all of us get into different zones. If I give a job of doing research to my class and I tell them, at the end of the year you have to come up with a research paper, each one starts looking at first what may be a good area to do some research. Okay, it invariably starts with what my research interests are and my subject interests are. I may be very much interested in environment. I may be interested in human rights. I may be very much interested in looking at artificial intelligence and this field about algorithmic justice, or just jurisprudentially looking at the personality of an artificially intelligent creation, or whether there will be whether we can give out copyright protection to or IP protection to any work that is created by an AI, or should it be to the person who's giving the prompts, such kind of things. So there is an area that is a subject area of my interest. Then further, in that subject area, I want to look at what are the laws that are there presently, what are the judgments that are already existing, and I'm going to find out a loophole over there, a gap over there. So my first job is to identify a gap, and for that I want to do a lot of literature review, right? Can somebody read out? I think there are a lot of answers that are coming in onto the messages. Can someone help me with the messages that have been posted by the students, by the participants?
As such, no participant has put forward their queries. Moreover, I have allowed them to unmute themselves
Okay,
as and when required by you.
okay, fine.
So, yes.
That's even better. That would be
Yes, ma'am.
better.
Yes, ma'am. So,
If
they would
anyone
be,
has a question,
yes,
please
ma'am.
speak. Fine. Supporting legal decisions. Now we have our legal research enables that as well, right? We want to know, given this research question, given this question that is there before the courts, how is the court going to answer this? We want to know that prior to even going to the court. I also want to know, as say, for example, we just don't do research for the sake of writing research papers or doing a dissertation or writing a thesis for a PhD. We are in a stream of law wherein wherever we go, we do research, right? Whether we are whether we are lawyers or we go and join a corporate office, at every point of time when a work is given to me, I have to start researching. A client comes to me, I need to research on how the law may be of use and think about how the law may be used for his benefit, correct? And given the research question, I would also want to know what are the laws that govern this particular domain, and what are the judgments that are already there in this particular domain, how my client's case might be different, and how best can I put this up to the court so that I get a positive response for my client. In that, I'm doing research. Supposing I'm a judge. As a judge, also, I'm doing research, right? Given a certain research question, given a certain issue before the court, the advocates have argued from both sides. And now I have to decide as to what would be the right stand to take. Would it be right for me to say that algorithms should start deciding on matters, and if that be so, to what extent would that be right? If I'm to look at surveillance versus privacy, there are reasons why the state may is justified in saying that I need to do a surveillance on the population that's there, because it is in the interest of peace and order and law and order in the society. Okay, I need to be on the lookout of whether anybody living in this present, in this premises is planning to do something or criminal in nature that will disrupt the whole peace and order over here. So the state says that I do have a legitimate interest, a state interest is there in doing a surveillance over this particular domain. Whereas the persons in there would say, no, no, I do have a right to privacy, and therefore you cannot be doing surveillance over me. Right? So there's a tussle, there is a friction. And all the time, law deals with these kind of frictions, right? Even in your research, you will be doing the same thing. There is an issue. And the issue is there are these two conflicting parties. And these two conflicting parties are both giving out legitimate arguments, saying that this is my right, and the other says that no. And there seems to be a conflict. Given that conflict, what would be the right thing to do? Whether we are advocates, whether we are judges, whether we are corporate lawyers or researchers, student or a teacher, we are all the time doing legal research, right? And the key steps in legal research, one for every one of us does, is literature review. We do literature review at two separate steps, right? One is at the start of the research, when I'm trying to identify a gap in a research gap in the area in which where I'll focus my research on. So to identify a research gap, I'm researching, right? That's when I'm doing the first. Once I have identified the research gap, I now next need to know, what would be the research question. I will formulate a research question, I will formulate a research objective, and then I go about doing once again literature review to look for arguments and counter arguments to answer those issues that are there. Okay, whether this over that, why so? I'm looking at literature, I'm trying to find out literature to find out how will I answer those research questions. So it's a two-step process, right? You do literature review at the start, then once you have formulated a research proposal, you launch on to do the research. And the first step in doing research is, once again, go back to the library, go back to the books, and look for material wherein you will trace arguments in support of that issue or counter to that issue, right? So the one major chunk of work is about reading, researching. Researching involves a lot of reading. And for us, reading is about reading the law, reading the commentaries, reading books, reading journal articles, reading a lot of judgments, right? International law, municipal law, judgments, these constitute a major chunk of the research, the literature that we need to review, right? Also, after having collected all of these literature, and I know that I'm going to review all of this, I now need to do a critical analysis of this. I have to see that why a certain author who has written or taken a stand, whether his stand is a right stand to take. Okay, I'm going to look at his argument. I'm going to look at the reasoning, the rationale for that argument that he's making, and I'm going to see whether, and I'm going to think about, I have to critically think about whether that argument is a good argument or not, right? And for that, I need to get into the reasoning element in that particular paper. Now, is there reasoning everywhere? Yes. If you take a law book, there are aims and objectives of the law, and you will find that the reason is hidden over there. You take a journal article, the author is making an argument. You take a judgment, there is a rationale given. We look at the ratio decidendi. Why did the court decide in this manner? What is the ratio? What is the rationale? We are looking at the argument and why that argument is strong over the other party's argument, right? This is what we do in research as well. We do a lot many things when we do when we are writing a research report. There are tons of other AI that will come in. I today will be focusing only on, you know, how, while we are doing the research, what all things are we doing in that. Okay, now look at the traditional ways of doing research. First, we will go to the library. We will stand before endless counters over there. First is the very first step is we'll pull out drawers, we'll look at catalogs. Earlier we used to do that. Now we have moved away from there, and then there are online libraries, right? And online catalogs are there. So we see that, that era wherein, if you see the picture behind this, what is written over here, you see those kind of catalogs. How many, I do not know how many of you have seen. I have seen. The oldies amongst us would have seen these kind of, catalogs. Go to the library, there are cards in it. Look at each of those cards, all arranged in a proper manner, and you will come up with a card and then say, this is the book that I want, right? To from then to this point of time wherein we were using online libraries, right? Most of our universities, most of our colleges are subscribing to InflibNet is there. Plus there is our own online catalogs will be there, right? And you do search over there. And then the traditionalists amongst us said that, I still remember when I was working in, with the at Justice Sipuka's office, and ma'am used to tell that, there is a wealth in going through all of the, you pull out the whole of the AIR, you read the notes, you read the paragraphs. There's whole lot of value in doing that. And in doing that, you do a lot of search, right? And you do a lot of reading. Things that you don't want, things that you want. Everything gets into your head. You learn a lot through the traditional mode of, doing research. Now is the age wherein you just search up the point on which you want research, and you do pointed search. Remember the words like Boolean search and all of that. We had to learn that, right? How you do the search, that there was, there was a skill attached to it, as well as to how, what words and how do you put those, double inverted commas, when do you put a plus, when you do this, and then what kind of search words will bring you what kind of results. We used to have those kind of trainings as well. And now today, not just from that catalog, we have moved to, there are a lot of AI tools, which I will be familiarizing you with, right? Now, it's not just about locating the literature. It's also about reading all of that. Reading all of that. If you take up a Harvard Law Review and you take up one particular article and it runs to 50, 60 pages, you don't want to spend so much time because you want to get more work done within that, right? You don't want to spend 1 full hour reading all that 50 pages. And yes, of course, 1 full hour will be pretty less for reading a 60-page document. What you do then in such cases, there are these AI tools that help you read that 60-page article within minutes, right? And you get more done in a shorter span of time. Earlier, we used to teach our students, like, what do? You read the abstract first. You pay importance onto the title. Then you pay a lot of attention to the abstract. The abstract, if written well, would tell you what is the argument that it is addressing, correct? And after that, go to the conclusion page and then read what is the conclusion. Then go back and see what are the subheadings, and the one that you want to read, right? What is relevant to your research, that paragraph, go to that paragraph, then read about it. Okay, so you are to read in, I mean, we used to tell techniques to our students as to how to go about reading a 60-page document in a matter of, say, 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and this is what you take away from there and move to another article. Okay, but then those skills, I suppose, in today's world the world is no more required. You have some other skills to learn now, right? So let's go through those kind. First, we need to be able to use AI for literature mapping, for topic generation, for reviewing our draft. Okay, we need to be able to now the new with the help of with the AI tools, what is it that I should be able to do? And towards this whole workshop is there today. right? I need to be able to critically think. I need to be able to analyze the legal reasoning. My analysis has to be strong. My legal reasoning has to be strong. My critical thinking skills have to be very, very strong, right? How do I combine doctrinal depths to data driven insights? Okay. Earlier, when I used to do this manual labor about collecting literature, I would, I may not even be, I may not know that in a certain, in a certain library in Delhi, there is this book. I need to go see that, right? Like when I was doing some literature review for Indian knowledge systems, I had to first search for libraries which gave me some books, and there is this mythical society over here who has a lot of books, so I had to go there and collect that. Supposing I would never come to know about it, supposing this organization would not have put it up on Google about them having a lot of literature with respect to Indian knowledge system, I would not have known that such and such knowledge exists, right? So I would not have collected it. And because I would not have collected it, my research would have been handicapped. Correct? Now, the more and more things are online, the more and more comprehensive our literature review is going to be, right? And I need to be able to do the proper search and use tools to do that, right? And then I do my, combine that doctrinal depth, maintain human oversight and interpretive integrity as well. That we have to do. Okay. So what AI tools have you already explored? I'm sure you would have explored ChatGPT. If yes, please just unmute yourself and say yes or say no.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
Okay. Out of the 50 people over here, how many have used ChatGPT before? And okay, fine. The next question: What have you used ChatGPT for? Quick answers.
Creating PPTs for some of my lessons.
Okay, very good. Yes. Anybody else? Or some more uses that you have put ChatGPT to?
To get basic idea.
Ma'am,
Yes.
for finding sources on a particular topic before starting the research.
Okay, fine. Means a
For a
little bit
professional way of writing.
for a profession. Okay, to polish the language of your mails or any writing. Further. Okay, I'll move ahead and I will show you many more ways in which ChatGPT can be used. Okay, so let's start with, I'll come to ChatGPT the last because you are more familiar with that. Okay, the more interesting ones are there, right? But here I'm showing you two main AIs that you can use for literature review to identify literature in the area of work that you're doing. Okay, so first I'll take you to litmaps.com. And right, I hope you can see this. Now, litmap is basically literature review. Okay, you can have your own things that you can have your own tags, right? I have done earlier, I have used it earlier, so I'll show that same tag to you. This is with respect to protecting traditional cultural expressions, the work that we are doing right now, for which we have got some funding, because of which we are doing this research. Now, when I searched up for this, as you see over here, this article comes up. When I go on to this article, it takes me to that as to the source of it. But the thing is, at every point of time, once you come to the like, see, I have come to the article, right? The American Journal of Comparative Law. Now, if I have to get that, I will have to look at whether my library has access to it. Okay. But what it gives over here is that there is such and such an article that is present, and you can collect it from. So now if I have to search, right? Maybe I go back, I just go here and give me a topic for search. We'll take up mediation. Right? Mediation, a comparative approach. You see over here, there are 39 references to this article. There are 34 citations to this article. Okay, look at the next one. 0 references, 51 citations. Mediation principles and regulations in regulation in comparative perspective. So here there are n number of articles that it is suggesting. Okay, now let me click on the first one. Right? Explore related articles, and you PDFs as well. Okay, so, or you can do add to lit map. Okay, or you can do a tag over here. You see the POI, everything is given over here on a new lit map. Add to lit map, or you can just put in a tag over here, put a new tag, and you enter the name mediation, and you can store everything that you want over here. You can also sync it with Zotero collection. What does that mean? You can install Zotero, okay, and from Zotero also you could take. So the advantage of putting it through Zotero is also a citation or a reference manager software. Okay, so all the references, all the readings, you can put it up at one place, and when you want, you can also export citations from them. You can take from those articles, you can add articles in it. You can take from those articles, and when you take it into your literature, it'll into your research report, it will bring with it the footnote. If you want the footnote in whichever format, you can take in that format. So that is Zotero, Mendeley, and all. These are reference manager softwares, which I will not get into right now. Okay. But now see, I have created a new one. That's mediation. Okay. Now I could go here. I could go to this particular article, and then from there, I could also see, get to the main article itself. So this is from JSTOR. So I close that right now. Okay. We will go further and do some more search over here. Right. Look at the citations as well. Okay. Get PDFs. Add to which are the 39, which are the references that are there. Okay. Which are the articles that have referred to it. So if you go for these articles will be something similar. A semi-autonomous socially appropriate subject of study, okay, wherein all these articles have been cited. You keep going further and further, and you get a whole lot of a literature map itself, okay, and you keep adding, you add this to whichever is something that, you know, matches with your research objective. You can add it to your lit map. This is how lit map works. Okay, I will close this and I'll go back to my presentation over there. I will take you to Research Rabbit as well. But before that, what exactly is Research Rabbit? I'll play this. I hope you'll be able to hear.
You will have to actually make it possible for us to hear. We are not able to hear you, the audio.
You're not able to hear this. Is it?
No, ma'am, we can't hear.
Okay.
I believe in the Google Meet itself, you can make that option. One second.
Where in the Google Meet will I find that? Or I'll just leave the link for others to see later.
Okay, ma'am, that's also fine.
That will be better. Okay. Going back over here, I will show you the Research Rabbit app. Okay. Research Rabbit is known to be a very good, it'll keep searching for more and more. Okay. I'll give a small demo to you over here. This is the first paper that I added. This is my own paper. Okay. Is it morally justified to create disabled designer baby? Now, when I do that, you could just start with a search as well. Okay. And then you add, either you add your own paper, or you do a search. Once you do a search, you will get a few suggestions like this, as you see. Okay. When you get the suggestions, you can add into it. So I have added some. Okay. Now see here, there is something called as add papers. Let me search genetically modified, genetic modification in humans, legal and ethical challenges. Supposing I put it like this, okay, and I do a search. It gives me a lot of articles. You just see here, you can add to the collection. Okay, but now I want to know whether these papers are useful to me. CRISPR, this is the CRISPR-Cas9 technology, challenges to South African biotechnology law. This I may not need. Genome editing in medicine, a scoping review of ethical, bioethical, medical, legal framework for CRISPR-Cas9. Yes, this will be of use to me. I have actually already added this. Okay. Similarly, bioethics and human rights. Now, I'll also bring your notice to, see, this is the article and this is the journal where it is published. This is the article, this is the journal where it is published. It helps because you could think about submitting your article also to these journals, right? So you generally we get confused about where should I send this article of mine. The best place to send your article to is from where you have chosen articles and put into your research. One, they will be happy that somebody is reading their journal and quoting from there. You are putting a citation, because journals are always looking for whether their impact factor is growing, right? And so what they want is, like, they'll publish your article also if you have all of the citations from them. It helps them, and also it could be it is very much helpful for you, in the sense that you are reading something that is published and you have a comment on it, you have an extra thought on it, you have a perspective on it, and that's where you are at where the whole world is discussing. You are at the cusp of it. That is where it's beneficial to you. So I close this. You can keep adding it like this over here, and you can select one paper and look at what they have written. You can take the next. You can look at what they have written. Sometimes PDF will be available, sometimes it may not be available. Okay, so you keep going on in this manner. Now, you can add it to another collection, or you can. Now look at authors. You want to see such and such author, then you take this person and then go further. You will be able to find more, right? Say, let me take you to some more of these articles that I have been able to identify. Okay, here, right? This. Right now I'm not. You can export papers. There are citations over here, right? I'll do that. If I know the person whom I'm searching for, okay, then I can just type out that name of the author, and I want to add this paper. Okay, so I have to just take this paper, as since I have already added it over here, you will see this. Now what happens is, if you look into these, it keeps jumping, right? Add to other collection or similar work, you keep moving till you get a whole bunch of literature that you can review. Okay, you can add a new category, you can connect to Zotero and all of that. Now, moving back to the research, this is Research Rabbit. If you start using it, you will find that, it keeps going step by step. So that, I suppose that's why it's named as Research Rabbit. This is Case Mind, and this particular YouTube video is about 7 minutes, which explains how Case Mind works. Look at this. This is Case Mind. Now, this Case Mind gives you judgments from, you can find US, UK, India, and so on and so forth, right? Now, you can do search over here. Like, for example, I say Puttaswamy decision case, the KS Puttaswamy. So this is the search. Then I go to that particular, and there is a smart summary. Click on that summary. And here you find factual and procedural background, legal issues presented, argument of the parties, petitioners' arguments, respondents' arguments, table of precedents cited, court's reasoning and analysis, holding of the court, and finally that's it, right? This is hugely beneficial, right? Instead of reading, so many the pages of the whole of it, right? And then you have a summary in place. And after you read the summary, you go back to the paragraphs, the relevant paragraphs, and there you read once again. If you're focused on a certain area, you need not read the whole judgment. What you need to do is read only the portion that is of interest to you. Now look at this. There is something called as parallel search. Okay. Now in parallel search, what do you do? I'll just open some parallel search which I had already done. I will keep it. I'll show that to you. Okay. Now, I in parallel search, I put in this question: can Aadhaar data be used by police authorities for investigation purposes? Okay. They'll give an answer. Fine. And yes, Aadhaar data can be used. And this is see, read more. It's like it'll give you insights into each of these decisions. With the decisions, it is giving why, what did the court hold over there, whether we can, whether the Aadhaar data, the fingerprints can be used by police authorities in investigation purposes. I'm sorry. Right. So this is another thing that can be easily done. Now see, cases where celebrities claimed violation of personality rights, you have this answer. Like that, you could actually, what is the difference in the two? One is you're looking for cases, and from those cases you can jump to more cases, or all the citations that are given, all the cases that are cited over there, from there you keep going on, right? It's like a rabbit only, it keeps working. But in the second one, that is in the parallel search that is do, or you can actually look into, like see, there is this amicus. Amicus will help you, ask any question, and then it will give you that answer, the format that which I showed you. Okay, it will come in through there, right? So that's about using Case Mind. The more you use these AIs, you'll get better and better at it. You will be able to explore and find out more and more benefits. These are like real worthy things that are there. Now, I have some more time wherein I will show you what is Notebook LM. Okay, this is another very useful tool. Notebook LM. Okay, Notebook LM.Google. Google's Notebook LM helps us understand anything, everything. Okay. And you can create a lot of notebooks over here. Try Notebook LM. I do. And I already have a lot of notebooks over here. Okay. Means I have to create a new notebook. Once I create a new notebook, I can upload sources that I already have. Okay. Or I can put in a link of a website. You see over here, I can put in a website link. I can put in a YouTube link, and I paste the YouTube here, URL over here. Okay. And I can discover sources as well. What are you interested in? I'm interested in, say, for example, genetic modification, legal and ethical challenges. Supposing I'm putting in this. And I submit. It will select sources on its own, search for sources on its own, and I can select a few from them and I can import it in over here. Okay. Now I may not import all of them. All of them may not be needed for my research. So I deselect and I select a few. I can import of all of them over here. Right. Now I'm not yet importing here anything. Correct. I will go back to one of my old notebooks and I will show what I have done over there. Correct. Now here I have added sources. I was doing this sometime back about the language debate, like, whether we should be forcing languages on people, and like how Tamil Nadu has an objection to forcing of Hindi, and in Karnataka they said that everybody should be learning Kannada, and the same fight we had recently surfaced in Maharashtra as well. So I was just looking at what is it that the Indian Constitution talks about language, right? And in this, I found the whole of the Constituent Assembly debate. I copy pasted all of it and added it over here. After that, I did a discover. At a time, you can have 50 documents here that you want to read. You can have only one document. You can select one document and you can say that I want a summary of it. The summary of it will come over here. You see? And because there are 20 sources that I had added, here the summary of it comes in. Now, don't just be happy with the summary, right? You can ask questions. What are the cognitive, cultural, educational impacts of multilingualism, especially mother tongue instruction? Right? They are themselves suggesting questions to us, or I could put in my own question that in this document, there are 20 sources. What do these 20 sources say about this? Okay, I can have my own question, or I can take the questions that are given over here. Okay, so when you are not already thought about what would be my research question, you can start with the questions that they are giving prompts to. Or if you already have your own question in mind, here is where you start typing in question, and they will give you answers. Okay. What are the cognitive, cultural, and educational impacts of multilingualism? If I know more and more languages, how does it help me? Especially, and compared to, say, I know only one mother tongue, right? Then what, right? So I want to know from that. Now look at this side. There is something called as studio. Okay, I'll take you to the studio. Here, there is something called as audio overview. If you click on that, you have selected 20 sources. This 20 sources will be used to create a podcast. Okay, now you don't have time for all of these 20 sources, and you don't want to miss out anything from those 20 sources. If you ask one question, you will get answer to that question, but there may be many more hidden things in there. So what do? You put in an audio overview. It will generate some 15-minute podcast. Podcast is wherein there are two people talking about all of these sources. All that is discussed in all of these sources, it will put it in a podcast. You just put, while going back home, you just use that podcast. You hear it while you are driving. You will be, you save a lot of time while doing that. Next is, you can also have a video overview. Okay. And this, if you see on top, create an audio overview in Hindi, Bangla, Gujarati, Marathi, all of this is there. If you click on that, you can select the language in which you want. So whether it's an English document or in some other language document, it will read that and it will create a simplified, a podcast for you in your own mother tongue. If you want it in your mother tongue, or it comes up in English. Okay. I will show you. You can also create a video overview. Video overview is simplifying the whole of that in some 5-6 minutes. Okay. It comes in the form of a PPT. You can have a mind map as well. You can have reports generated, flashcards. You can also have a quiz. So for all the participants who are teachers over here, you can ask it to create a quiz for you. Okay, with these documents. You give one document and you say create a quiz. It will create a quiz for you. I'll show you one sample over here, the Great Indian Language Debate. This is a video overview that I had got created. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear it. Can't hear?
No, ma'am. Actually, it's not visible. We are not able to hear it. What we can do is, if you stop sharing the presentation and reshare, at that time you just have to check that one box which says share audio as well. If you can do that, then we'll be able to hear.
Wait. Can you guide me once again? I will
just
first stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you again come to share the presentation, share your screen. At that time, somewhere in the bottom you will see, along with the screen, etc., there is one dialog box. At the bottom, it will say share your audio, or at the top, somewhere around, you'll see there's a checkbox.
To share audio, share a tab instead.
Yes.
It has to be a tab, not.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So if I see, I'm sharing something, just tell me whether it works.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Passionate, really complex story, India's quest to figure out its own voice. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at why speaking more than one language is basically a superpower for your brain. Then we'll zoom right into India's, unique situation. After that, we'll get into the really fiery debates that help shape the nation, see how those fights are still playing out in the legal system today, and wrap up by looking at how technology might actually be changing the entire game. Sound good? Let's get into it. So before we even get to the specifics of India, we've got to start with a basic universal truth, and it's this. Being multilingual, it's like having a superpower. Seriously. And getting your head around this idea is absolutely key to understanding the rest of this story. And you know who put this perfectly? Nelson Mandela. He understood that language isn't just about information getting from point A to point B. It's about a real human connection. The difference between someone hearing your words and someone actually feeling them. And hey, this isn't just some nice, poetic idea. There is some serious science to back this up. It turns out that being bilingual literally rewires and strengthens your brain. We're talking about real, measurable benefits, like boosting your memory, helping you focus better, and get this, it can even help hold off diseases like Alzheimer's. How incredible is that? And that's exactly why this has become such a big deal globally. You have major organizations like UNESCO pushing for a really simple but powerful principle. Kids learn best when they're taught in their mother tongue. It just makes sense, right? It gives them a solid foundation for everything else they're going to learn, including other languages down the road. Okay, so keep that idea in mind. Learning in your mother tongue.
I will stop this. Now, if you see, you can hear how this sounds.
Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get you the core insights, the surprising facts you need to be, truly informed.
And today, we're really getting into something fundamental.
Absolutely. Language, it's right at the core of our identity. John Dewey said, if we teach today the way we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow.
So this is really podcast form. Okay, you can also have a mind map, right? See, it is creating a mind map, but I had already done that, so I'll be able to show that to you. See, this is a mind map that the AI creates, and when you see the mind map, see language education in India, multilingualism, then you can go take an arrow, take this arrow, go further, take this arrow, go further. So you know in which bit you want to move to. And you can go doing research in that bit as well, right? So Notebook LM is actually a very useful tool if you are looking at it there. I'll show you the, okay, have I stopped sharing that? Oh, yeah.
It has got stopped.
It has stopped sharing?
Yes, ma'am. It has stopped sharing.
Okay, then I go back to the PPT and share that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is about Notebook LM. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you how ChatGPT may be used. Certain things you already know. You will do a search, you will download all of that. Now, what I did is I'll show that to you. One, ChatGPT is a very good way of testing whether you have done your research very well. Okay, means what do we do in research? First is I have found a problem area. Then I have formed research questions, or in the courts there are issues before the court. Now, when there are issues or when there are research questions, I'm looking at what are the arguments for and against, and then I'm going to decide on that. It is almost like a moot court, right? So I had written a research paper recently, which was with respect to one Indian knowledge system related conference had come up, and that in the recent past we have had decisions that trees are persons in the eyes and should be held to be persons in the eyes of law. Okay, there are recent, and similarly there are like rivers should have personality, trees should have personality, we say AI should have idols have personality, and so on and so forth. And so I was looking at Indian knowledge systems, or like in our ancient traditions, we used to look at trees as persons, right? And so I was trying to draw an analogy that in earlier part also it was like that, similarly it was there, and now also we are once again moving back to that. Now, in doing that, I'm trying to say, because it was that trees also should be granted personality. Now, what I did is I wrote the research paper and I presented it as well. And in that paper, we got Best Paper Award as well. But then that that doesn't make the paper and the arguments in it perfect. Okay, I have to, when I'm making an argument and I'm putting it across to the world, it has to be logically correct. It has to be reasoning has to be very sound. Okay, so what I did is I put it through ChatGPT and I uploaded the paper and I said that identify the arguments in the paper. Okay, after it pointed out a few arguments to me, then I said, why don't you put it in a syllogism structure? Okay, for those of you who have studied logic, you would know inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Okay, what is it? One example, all men are mortal, A is a man, therefore A is mortal. A is mortal has to be correct if all men are mortal, A is a man is true. Right? So logic tells us that if you derive it like this, it will be perfectly correct. Okay. Or there is induction. A man is mortal, B a man is mortal, C a man is mortal, D a man is mortal. I have examined every human being in the world and then I say all men are mortal. From particular instances, I'm making a generalization. So there are syllogism structures. When we argue, we are arguing logically, and that logic, whether my logic is right or wrong, I am wanting to test. Okay, see, this is the document that fine. Are you able to see the document? Are you able to see the document?
Ma'am, we are
Yes, ma'am.
having
Yes,
a
ma'am.
view of the PPT.
You are able to see only the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will have to once again stop this and present something. Stop sharing. Share. Okay. I'm sharing one document with you, right? Are you able to see that now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you see, this ChatGPT gave it to me. Fine. Look at this. I'll move this here. First syllogism that it found in my document. Constitutional imperative for tree protection. Major premise. Right to life includes a right to clean and healthy environment. Minor premise. Cutting down trees violates the right to clean and healthy environment. Conclusion, therefore, cutting down trees violates right to life. Generally, this is what we argue, right? Now, see, now there is a mistake in this syllogism. Generally, we say that right to life includes the right to clean and healthy environment. If you cut down trees, my right to clean and healthy environment goes away, and therefore, cutting down trees is violating right to life. Now, there is an error. Minor premise, not every act of cutting trees will necessarily violate this right. Example, pruning one deceased tree in a forest. One tree that has gone bad, if I cut it down, will it affect my right to life? No. The premise is true only if we cut trees in a way that harms environment quality. Like if I cut down a whole full farm of trees, huge trees, then maybe there will be a quality in the environment that affects, right? Minor premise over generalizes. See, the fallacy also it is giving. Fallacy means anything wrong with the logic, or there is names of different. So this is over generalization. By one tree, if I cut that, my right to life is getting violated. It could become a hasty generalization or a false universe. So I told ChatGPT, why don't you rephrase it and give it to me? Right to life includes a right to clean and healthy environment is a given. Court has given to us. Minor premise, large scale or harmful cutting down of trees violates the right to clean and healthy environment. Right? Therefore, large scale or harmful cutting of trees violates the right to life. It can be modified further. But if you see, I'm giving my article to it, then I'm telling, give me the syllogism. This I can even do in Notebook LM. You upload your research article, then you ask, what is the reasoning that the author is giving? Okay, put it in the syllogism format and it will do it for you. You can ask it to rephrase the syllogism to bringing it to a minimal small, subject predicates in every sentence, small sentences. You ask it. Then you take it from Notebook LM and give it to ChatGPT. Examine the syllogism and tell me whether there is an error in it, whether there is a fallacy in it. It will identify the fallacy. Then you ask it, why don't you rephrase it? It will rephrase it for you. I'll give you one more example. Legal personality is not biological. Legal personality is created by law, not by humanity in a person. Law grants legal personality to non-human entities like idols and corporations. Therefore, law can grant legal personality to trees as well. Okay? My whole argument is law has granted it to idols, so therefore law should grant it to trees as well. Possibility fallacy. The conclusion is about possibility, which is logically fine, but weaker with legal persuasion. Just because the law has granted personality to idols does not mean that it should grant personality to trees as well. It does not necessarily flow from it, right? So I asked it to reframe, it has reframed it. Then, cultural continuity and modern legal reform. Major premise, ancient Indian cultural practices envision trees as humans. Minor premise, current judicial decisions reflect the ancient mindset. Hence, current laws can logically extend to granting trees legal personhood. Now, if I do that, historical continuity fallacy. The reasoning assumes that because ancient practices envisioned trees as human and some modern laws reflect the same, it follows that current laws should grant trees legal personhood. Just because something was done in the old times doesn't make it right. Okay, that's the whole fallacy over there. So we can rephrase it. And then there were like three phrases, rephrase thing. It has made a new one and given to me. Got it? So you see that, I'll do stop sharing and I will do that once again with, since I'm already past the time, I'll once again go back to the PPT. right? So similarly, there is this another. Now, this one thing last I will show it to you. Once again, I will have to share it. I'm sorry. This is an AI-generated review report of a PhD synopsis that is submitted. I'll show that to you. Okay, so next time onwards, before sending your paper out, you should actually run it through AI, whether the arguments that you are presenting is strong, whether the claim that you are making is supported by data, right? And I'll show you how you can do it. This is an AI-generated review report. A doctoral synopsis presents this critical examination of commercial space mining from an international law and policy perspective. So I'll just look at, references and citations. You ask whether the references and citations are okay. Strength. The study dedicates a section to doctrinal analysis, comprehensive list of primary sources, a list of relevant secondary sources are given, bibliography is given. Areas of improvement, lack of citation. This is the most significant area of improvement. Throughout the body of this, there is a pervasive absence of specific in-text citation. And to support factual, this is the report that ChatGPT has generated. You can do the same for your own research. Okay, it has given this statement. The global space economy is projected to expand to an estimated 1.8 trillion by 2035. This I'm not saying, right? Somebody is saying that has to have a footnote. Okay, so in case you have forgotten to add footnotes, it will tell you that here, in-text citation or footnote. Look at this. Content and argumentation. Here, strength, clear problem statement, objectives, comprehensive scope is there, logical flow is there, policy relevance is there, addressing. Areas of improvement, elaboration on depleting resources. When an increasing capacity of essential resources on Earth is cited as a driver for space mining, the statements about rare earth elements depleting at an alarming rate and fossil fuels being especially in the absence of citations, would be wrong thing to do. Okay, methodology part. Appropriate methodology, areas of improvement. Okay, support for claims and unsupported data. See over here, what is unsupported and what is supported. Overall observations and recommendations. Then it has given recommendations as well. Okay, so isn't ChatGPT useful beyond what we generally, put it for, we use it for, very small little things, but it can do real major work over there. Okay, so I'll go back to the slide. I'll close this. Fine. So I have shown this to you. But yes, of course, the challenges are there in the sense that, what is the accuracy of what we are getting. So one very interesting story, I will tell you, 2 stories like that has happened. One is in Europe, it has happened that one aviation company hired a lawyer, and this lawyer used ChatGPT to make the petition. Okay, and it submitted it to the court. And when the court started looking for case laws, they could not find it. And then it was found that because he has used AI, those, hallucination is there. So ChatGPT, it has now improved, but earlier it used to give out such fake, case laws, article names and all of that. So you need to be doubly, checking it, whether it truly exists. So the aviation company sued the advocate, saying that you have not done your work properly. Even better than that, in Bangalore, ITAT, the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, wrote the judgment using ChatGPT, and later on it had to call back the judgment because the citations that were there were not existing at all. Okay, the court came to know only after it had already published the judgment. So we need to be a little careful when we are using it, particularly ChatGPT. But if you see Notebook LM is from certain sources only. On its own, it doesn't do. Right? But ChatGPT does it on its own as well. So we need to be a little careful on that front. Again, with respect to bias, but that bias element we struggle even when we do physical research. academic integrity and all. Don't get the chat GPT to do all the research for you. You have to use it as a tool and not allow it to be your own master. That is all that is there to say. That's all. Thank you so much. With that, I close. If there are questions, please ask.
Participants are requested to put forward any doubt.
Ma'am, if I may bring your attention to one question raised by Pinky Das. She asks, is Zotero or Research Rabbit Spring encrypted?
There is a question. What is the question? Can I hear it again?
Is Zotero or Research Rabbit Spring encrypted?
Is Zotero or Research Rabbit encrypted? But I have not been able to understand the question completely. If you're looking at what should be encrypted over there, Zotero is a reference manager software. Okay, you can add whatever you are reading in Zotero, and from there, all the literature that you have studied gets into this particular. Say, if you have installed Zotero, it will go into Zotero. Okay, and from there, that's a ready referencer kind. I read 50 articles. All those 50 articles I have added into Zotero. So from there, I can take out, citations from there and paste it in my paper. That's what Zotero is. And what is Research Rabbit? Research Rabbit is sort of a rabbit that goes around finding articles for you that are already published, which is there in the public domain. Okay. Now it will see. My article in one Springer Nature journal is there in the public domain. But what is in the public domain is only the abstract and the citations. Okay, the whole article is not there. So Research Rabbit can pull you to that these kind of articles are there, right? But it does not give you the whole article when it is not an open access article. You will have to ask your own library to get it for you. Okay, so the question of encryption there, I don't know how it will come. Right. Research Rabbit also allows you to take footnote styles and BibTeX and reference and all of that. But I haven't, because we are law people, I haven't come across Harvard Blue Book citation in over there. One has it. I think Mengley has it. But the thing is, you will have to try doing, addition to it, because the newest version of that thing is not there. Harvard Blue Book is also not there. I don't know whether I have been able to answer, because the question is about encryption, and I'm not sure about what encryption you are asking. Yes, Pranav.
If I may ask the question, so
yes,
thank you so much, ma'am. It was a very insightful session for me. My question revolves around the classical method that you also covered, along with the modern methods, which includes AI. So in the classical methods, the traditional approach was to collect the data, interpret the data by using human reasoning, and then come to a conclusion. Whereas in AI or in the hybrid mode, I basically delegate a certain portion of my reasoning to the knowledge of AI, which depends on the unbiasedness of the training set that has been used to train the AI model. So in order to, I don't see an issue with the classical methods, wherein I can see that the whole interpretation or whole conclusion is based on human reasoning, whereas I'm partly using the AI interpretation as well as the human human reasoning.
But in this literature review tools, where do you think AI is already trained?
So these tools, basically, if you go with Google, it uses Gemini at the backend. So these are the wrapper tools, and it uses the existing AI models. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Grok, or it could be Gemini, and the code behind, wherein they connect with an API. It uses multiple tools for certain strengths with a specific tool, and generate the responses. So if I have to give you an example, if I'm relying on a summary that has been generated by an AI tool, and if I'm relying my reasoning, or if I'm relying my study on based on that particular summary, it may have excluded certain points, or it may have added certain points based on its training, which it has used to interpret and come across as a summary. So that could add a bias into my study. So how, like, I want to understand from the practical approach how I can
remove that.
avoid that kind. Yeah.
Whether it's a traditional mode or whether it's an AI driven mode, okay, using a tool, in any case, there might be a bias. In any case, because the moment we decide on a topic, we say that this is what the conclusion is going to be. We are human beings after all, so we come with biases, right? Now, having said that, what do we do in the traditional mode? I would write down my own biases, or I'll write down my own viewpoints, and I try to find out the counter arguments to this until I convince myself on the counter arguments as well. So much so that I come to a stage when I do not know which is the right, perspective, which is the right argument. That's when real research starts. Otherwise, we know the answer and we are just trying to collect data to support that and take it to that, right? So even in a traditional mode, I'm being careful. I have to be careful if I want to be neutral and want my research to be a very good one. I want to be neutral over there. So I made conscious efforts towards it. Okay. Having said that, in the AI world, you will also have to do the same thing. You have to compulsorily do the same thing. You have to read, identify. Now, a summary may have been generated, but it is always necessary that, as I was telling you, see, these are tools that will help you find out. See, Google has brought in Puttaswamy and proportionality. Now, I want to know the proportionality, right? From the 2 lines, I'm not happy. I have to go back to that paragraph and read. And I see that the court has referred to a typology of privacy. Somebody gives me a summary. No, I want to read that article because my research requires me to get into details of that. So which all areas you want to dig deeper, you need to get deeper into that. I have not been able to show you completely how the research rabbit works, but you can actually pull those, those dots that come up, you pull those, say that this will be the focus area. What are all the researchers that are only in that domain? Okay, once you start using it, you'll be able to do. So you have to also search for the opposite side viewpoints, even in this case. When you go to Notebook LM, I generally ask, what is the argument in favor of multilingualism? Does multilingualism cause confusion to the child? Or should the child learn only in his mother tongue? Till what age, right? What is the age when a child is able to master a lot of languages? Okay, what's the benefit of knowing a lot of languages, right? These kind of questions, when you ask, you will find that a different set of articles start coming up. Earlier, it is all over the place that, he should learn in his mother tongue and he should continue. How long will we continue that? He needs to move out of his state and go to other places, and then he'll find the trouble, right? So then I started searching for the advantages of multilingualism, and I found tons of articles on that. Till a point comes when, then you don't know whether it should be 1 language, 2 language, 3 language, many languages, at what stage, lots of things. Then you start collecting data on that aspect. You are the one who will drive your research eventually, whichever be it.
Sure.
They are, after all, tools only. It just
Thank you, ma'am.
saves you a lot of time.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I had one more follow-up question.
Yes.
So you suggested a very good, you gave a very good suggestion with respect to citations, like citing references from a particular journal wherein we are targeting to publish our article or the research project. Okay. So are there any such practical advices, any additional practice advices that you have for us in order to get out?
Primarily, so we tell our students to do a lot. One is, see, you need to have citations that are like closest to the time period when you are writing. I'm writing in 2025. A lot of whatever research has happened in 2025 and 2024, 23, in the recent past, those must show all over in my paper, right? It is not for showing purpose, more that I've read about it. And then only I can say that, yes, I know what is being discussed and my research is at that level. Correct. So having most, and then next, as in one of my students' case, it so happened that the external came, a PhD thesis, external came. The previous person who was presenting had literally, it went on for more than 1 hour. Okay, just a proposal presentation. But in the case of this student, it was like it got over in 20 minutes. And even she was surprised that there are no questions. And then she started asking, she got jittery about it and she thought that she hasn't presented properly. So she asked directly, "Sir, are there no questions? Is this right? Have I done it properly?" And he said that from your footnotes, I can make it that you've done it properly. Okay. If your footnotes come from Q1, Q2 journals, the best of the lot, obviously the reader or the editor knows that you've done good research. So it's not just about having citations from the journal that you are sending your paper to. Of course that journal will be happy, but more so you are engaging into a discussion that they are talking about in their published work. That is something very happy to be. And when they see that this author has cited from good journals, means has read all of those journals, all of those articles, means his article is going to be good. So it brings you immediately to the cream. Your paper is, so have a good number of citations from good places, meaning thereby you have read all of those things, because of which they are there, of course, otherwise it wouldn't be there. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, with your permission, can we proceed with the vote of thanks?
Yes.
It's my pleasure and honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Shampa Dev, for her enriching and thought-provoking session on the key steps to legal research and how to balance AI with the traditional methods. Your session, ma'am, beautifully abridged the traditional methods with the modern digital tools, and at the same time it also enabled us to understand how to use AI and various other tools to reduce the time taken, improve the overall efficiency and quality in our research. One very important thing that ma'am mentioned in the entire session was that we must be very ethical and must also use integrity. Definitely, it depends on the integrity of the person who's writing the paper to ensure that there would be lesser plagiarism and other issues. On the behalf of the organizers and the faculty and all the participants, I extend our sincere gratitude to you, ma'am, for your time, effort, and valuable insights. Thank you for guiding us through the evolving landscape of legal research with such clarity and enthusiasm and a hands-on experience. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Participants, you're requested to remain in the same link. The second session will begin at 2:10. You may take a short lunch break and come back by 2:10. Remain in the same meeting link. Please don't leave. Thank you. So these are. Sir, am I audible? Hello, sir. Sudhi, sir.
Hello, is it audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Also, if you want, we can do a video check also and ensure that your PPT, everything is visible. If any.
Yes, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes.
Visible?
Sir, at present we are seeing your entire screen, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible. Can you?
I'll do one thing.